Hello and welcome back to another super exciting chess game. This game was played at a really recent tournament, played in Dallas, Texas, Super GM match between Hans-Smokey Niemann playing as white and his opponent, superstar from India, Vidit Gujarati. This tournament was held really recently and it contained three portions. First portion was 4 minutes each plus 2 seconds increment. Second portion was 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment for each player, and the third portion was 2 minutes and 2 seconds for each player. In the end, Hans-Smokey Niemann won, but this game is one of those exemplary games how you can ruin your game with just one bad played move. With one misjudgment of the position, everything can fall apart, and this game just showcases that. I will not bother you too much with the result, but I'm guessing you already know this from the thumbnail. Also, if you wish to become better at chess, you should definitely look out in the description of this video. I am promoting one platform which I'm a part of, so if you are willing to improve chess, they contain everything: opening, middle game, end game, tactics, how you should think as a chess player, how the grandmasters think and their games. So definitely all you might need to become a better chess player. So if you are serious about it, I will definitely invite you to check the link in the video of this in the description of this video. And with that being said, we will go straight into this game. Hans-Smokey Niemann opened the game with c4, so I have to remind you again that this was a blitz game, so this was not a classical game. Vidit decided to defend with c6. The so-called Caro-Kann defensive system reminds like Caro-Kann, and it is like Caro-Kann. Knight f3, and we have d5. Like in Caro-Kann, black plays for the center with d5. Hans-Smokey Niemann decided to play e3 in this position, and black decided to defend with knight to f6. So he definitely invites white to take this pawn. If this trade happens, black can take either with his pawn, usually with his pawn, or with his knight. Hans-Smokey Niemann in this position decided to play queen to c2, sort of a developing move, protecting this pawn. Black decided to go for e6, now getting ready to open this dark squared bishop somewhere, usually on d6. And now we have a b3 by Hans-Smokey Niemann. Hans decided to go for fianchettoing this dark squared bishop, and then looking to create some sort of a Zuckertor structure, which usually follows with bishop to d3, and then these two bishops aim at this king here, and white is attacking this way. Black continues with bishop to d6, and white goes for bishop b2 as he previously pushed b3. We have knight b to d7 developing move, and now we have a d4 in the center, standard move, grabbing the central control, and we have castle for Vidit Gujarati. White now continues his development with bishop to e2, also getting ready for castle, and right now we have queen to e7 played for Vidit. Vidit now doubles up his pieces and creates this battery. Also, he's ready to connect the rooks, and also one of the ideas of black in this position is to go for b6 and bishop b7 or bishop a6 here. So this is the plan for development of black. Now in this position, white had many options, and he decided to go for knight to e5, which is a decent option if it's played correctly, but also on this position, other moves like knight to c3 were good, knight b to d2 is good, and also castling is good. There is no need to rush here, although knight to e5 is perfectly fine if it is played how it should be played. We have bishop to b4 check for Vidit, and right now Hans-Smokey Niemann makes the first mistake of the position, although this is played, but he plays king to f1. Now he loses the right to castle, and the point is that he was kind of scared of black's attack, and I will show you what he had in mind. So after bishop b4, if knight to c3 is played, then black had this idea in the opening: knight picks up on e5, and after d takes on e5, with knight to d7, Hans-Smokey Niemann probably thought that it would be really hard to defend this pawn, and he didn't want to just go for f4, since this leaves this huge diagonal and weak black holes around the king, and this would be really difficult to defend here. So that is the reason why, for example, after knight to d7, although this looks tricky, Hans-Smokey Niemann had this quiet move, firstly a3, so right now you don't have the time to pick up the pawn. After bishop is retreated, you continue with b4, and after bishop b6, you simply play knight to a4, you attack this bishop and you protect this pawn, and you are just fine. So white is even slightly better here. by a really small margin, but it is better. Also, after bishop to b4, even bishop to c3 is a move here, so nothing is too scary about this position. Hans-Moke Niemann, after bishop to b4, decided to go for king to f1. He lost the right to castle. He expected an immediate trade, but unfortunately this didn't happen. But knight to e4 was played for Vidit Gujarat in this position, grabbing the control of this white square and putting this knight here on a beautiful square. Now again, in this position, Hans-Moke Niemann makes another huge mistake, and he plays f3. This is a huge mistake, and I will show you why. After knight to e4, Hans-Moke Niemann even had a saving move, which was a knight to d3 here, recommended by the computer, attacking this bishop. And after, let's say, bishop to d6, we have knight to c3 pressuring this, and after f5, white could have continued peacefully with a4 and a completely decent position, although black is slightly better. But Hans-Moke Niemann makes a huge mistake with this f3 move, and there is a big difference. Now I will show you why this is a mistake. So after knight picks up on e5, now he still had a chance to save his position by playing the right, by capturing the right knight. In this position, after knight takes on e5, he decided to pick up d takes on e5, which is a mistake, and I will show you now why. Firstly, after knight takes on e5, the best continuation for Hans-Moke Niemann was to pick up this knight. And now after queen to f6 check, king would retreat to g1. Right now, black would probably try as the best move here with bishop e1, with the idea to go for the checkmate here. Now one of the ways to save this position is to play bishop to d1, covering the f2 square. Black would probably continue with a really nasty move, knight to d3. Of course, you cannot pick up this knight since checkmate is still hanging. But right now, white has e5, attacks the queen, and after queen goes on h4, bishop f3, although computer gives almost 2.5 advantage if everything is played perfectly. This is a still holdable position, although this king is really unsafe. But unfortunately, after knight picks up on e5, Hans-Moke Niemann decided to pick up d takes on e5, which was a huge mistake in the position, because right now, as I mentioned, dark square pushing f3 or f4 pawn leaves this dark square weak, and after queen to h4, this is on the move 12th, where Hans-Moke Niemann resigned the game. Now, why did Hans-Moke resign the game? So black has now double checkmate threat. One of the threats is queen to f2 checkmate and queen to e1 checkmate. So you simply cannot play bishop to d1 like previously played, because this simply doesn't save you from a queen e1 checkmate. In case of g3 here, then black of course would take this with knight takes on g3. And of course, if you decide to pick up this knight, this is not even a material loss, this is a straight checkmate, because after queen to h1 and king to f2, the only move, bishop e1, is the checkmate. So after knight to g3, you cannot take, you have to go with your king. Now there is a different way to continue this game. Computer even recommends playing knight to f5, even not taking this material. That's how white's situation is bad. But even after knight takes on h1, king picks up on h1, black could continue with bishop to c5, aiming at this pawn. And now the plan for black is really simple. Black firstly has the material advantage. Secondly, black should continue with f6, which is really easy to find, not for grandmasters, even for intermediate players. Basically, you want to open the f file to open up this rook, and then bring this rook to the aid and try to create a checkmate threat. Even if you don't go for this plan and you go for something else, the situation is that desperate here. Black is simply a huge material advantage up, and there is no way of losing this game for black. So that is the reason why Hans-Moke Niemann resigned. And even though also this was a rapid game, so there was no it was a blitz game, so there was no point of waiting and losing even more time when the situation is clearly done. And this is how this game ended, guys. I really would like to hear your opinion about this game. Did you ever have a game where something like this happened to you, where you simply took the wrong exchange and the situation just turned for your opponent, and you were just like wanting to maybe break the keyboard, or you just wanted to leave the the playing hall if you are playing a tournament chess. I know I had those games, but as you know, this is blitz game, and mistakes happen even at the top level. So this is one of those games. Everyone makes blunders and everyone makes mistakes. Also, do let me know if you have any other questions about this position. Maybe you are enjoying Caro-Kann defensive system. And also, guys, if you wish to improve your chess, if you wish to raise your elo, no matter what your unless you're a grandmaster, of course, or rated like 2800 elo, if you wish to improve your chess knowledge, if you wish to gain more out of your chess, there is a chess community I am promoting. Definitely check the video, the link in the video. You will see it at the top of the video description. You can even click it immediately. You don't need to open the description. It is already written. Once you lower it down under the video, you will see the link. Do click on that and sign up. And signing up is free, of course, and do check it out if you want to become a member. And I definitely think that you should if you want to be serious at chess. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a pleasant night. Bye bye.